please call the roll.
Freeholder Dinacola.
Here.
Freeholder Felice.
Present.
Freeholder Gans.
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan.
Here.
Freeholder Tonelli.
Here.
Freeholder Zor.
Here.
Chairwoman Vaz.
Here. You all please rise and let us all honor America by saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk please read the minutes to be accepted?
September 16, 2015, work session, Freeholder Sullivan, absent. September 16, 2015, public session, Freeholder Sullivan, absent. September 21st, 2015, work session, all present.
May I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. The ayes
Chairwoman, I'd
have
like to abstain on the 16th meeting.
Okay. May I have a motion to open the meeting to the public?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We will now have a hearing of the general public with a 3-minute time limit in effect. The board attorney will keep the time. When the time of the speaker expires, the timekeeper will announce that the time has expired. Hopefully you have filled out cards with your name and a general topic that you wish to discuss so we can keep the conversation in a good flow. Okay. May I have Bill Brennan, please?
It's all right, I'm waiting for somebody else to, did you take me last or later?
Okay. Nick Lento.
Thank you. Basically, I'm going to take a couple of minutes and talk about the situation with our prosecutor, Mr. Molinelli, who apparently is in the process of, quote, retiring, unquote. I want to thank the chairwoman for writing the letter that she did write to the proper authorities. Despite Senator Sarlo's opinion of it, I think the letter had some effect, given the results of the evidence of the last couple of days. My sense is, though, that I would like to have an opinion from Mr. Florio on the status of the statute that Mr. Brennan quoted last time he was here, because I understand that your opinion is that it does not enable the freeholders to issue a complaint or a request for a removal of a prosecutor. I think that question needs to be clarified. Your legal opinion would be appreciated. Obviously, I can't compel you to do that, but I'd like to see something more official than just a general sense from Ms. Voss that there's nothing more you could do than the letter that you sent. That's one thing. The other thing is I want to commend Mr. Brennan for having the courage to stick with this over a period of months and years, putting up probably dozens, if not hundreds, of posts and now writing for the Bergen Dispatch. I think that without his going into this dark cavern and lighting one little candle, we wouldn't have had the result that we had, despite the face that's being put on it. This is clearly something that Mr. Molinelli did not intend to do a few weeks ago, which is happening now, essentially against his will, despite the effort to paint it as a kind of voluntary retirement. So that's basically it. I still feel that it would behoove the freeholders to make it their business to really read. How much time do we have left? About 30 seconds?
Not even a minute.
A whole minute, okay. I would love it if y'all would become miniature experts on this whole set of allegations and suspicions that Mr. Brennan has raised, because I've read a lot of stuff that he's written, and if only 1/3 of it is accurate, what you have here, frankly, is, dare I say it, some kind of organized criminality, and I really think that it's the kind of thing that Paul Fishman should be getting involved with. If none of it is true, then you got a lot of lies. I can't, because most of the stuff that he's talking about has all been on the public record. It's all in the newspapers. The facts are the facts. The fact pattern is what it is. There's just so much smoke. It all connects and it doesn't look good. and it doesn't reflect on Bergen County. I had hoped that the era of Joe Ferriero and machine politics and bossism was over in Bergen County. I don't want to live in a county where the people who live here are afraid of retaliation from the people in charge of enforcing the law. That's not a nice way to live. That's enough. If I have any time left over, I'll yield it back to you
3
guys.
minutes,
Thank you.
Mr. Lento.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Brennan, are you ready?
Evening, Freeholders. I'd like to start out by thanking you for taking the action that you did and for pointing out to people that you actually can accomplish things. If you see something wrong and you do something and you stand up and you take a stand, a firm and direct stand against what you see is wrong, things can change. I know you were somewhat reluctant, or some of you were in the beginning, and you didn't think that you had the power that you have. But one simple act from this board, and we have a whole new day in the office of the Bergen County Prosecutor. A lot of people were damaged, a lot of people were hurt, a lot of people were injured by this. And it can't just end here. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank Ms. DiNicola and Mr. Felice for supporting that young lady's effort to have her story heard the last time I was here. Because they were the only two on this board that I saw that actually wanted to hear from that young lady. Now, that's where we were then, and we're in a different place now. You didn't think you had the power to do anything, and you actually did everything. I didn't do it. That letter was enough to trigger a reaction, because when you look at it, what that previous speaker just said is true. Listen, if everything I said is false, then I expect there'll be litigation and I'm subject to suit. I welcome that. I am more than happy to defend that. But I want to know where we go forward from here, because it's time. I mean, there's nobody here saying that these things didn't happen other than Mr. Molinelli. These things happened. Serious and egregious things happened. And this is a branch of government. We have a system of checks and balances, and you just demonstrated that you were a check and you were a balance on a corrupt situation in the office of the county prosecutor. Now, I don't know who's going to come up behind me and say great things about Mr. Molinelli, but if they are going to do that, ask them some pointed and direct questions, because they're here to say those things if they say them. Ask them the serious questions about Mr. Raji. Ask them about Chief Ramos in Palisades Park. But again, to say this isn't your problem or your position, that's running away from your obligation to the residents and the taxpayers of this community. You've taken a good step. You need to take more steps. These things need to be investigated. The people who were harmed need to be made whole. And even if you want to take the position that it's not your job to do those things, there are certain things that are squarely within the ambit of this body, and that would be the money that was taken from the Treasury to pay Mr. Drew Max to authenticate, counterfeit, and sell it at a Bergen County auction. He went before this body in one way, shape, or form and made false statements in order to get a public bid, a contract in the amount of $10,000 to a man from Las Vegas, who then said that counterfeit sports memorabilia was authentic. And it was then sold using the imprimatur of the County of Bergen and the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office. Could I have another 30 seconds? The Bergen County Prosecutor's Office to unsuspecting bidders who thought that the good name of the County of Bergen and the good name of the Office of the County Prosecutor and a certificate of authenticity from somebody would be enough to protect them from having purchased counterfeit. Now, some of that counterfeit is in the stream of commerce, and that is something you got duped. You got lied to because John Molinelli made a false statement in connection with a public bid. The criminal aspect of that is ongoing, but the civil aspect of that and your duty to the Treasury is here. It needs to be dealt with. Thank you very much.
Cody Donovan.
Good evening, everyone. I'm a new face here, though I'm like the youngest face in the room. I'm 24 years old. I'm a Marine Corps combat veteran. I did one tour overseas. I received the Navy Commendation Medal for pulling 26 Marines out of a track fire. And I was honorably discharged on January 2013 in the hopes to become a police officer here in Bergen County. On the date of November 3rd, 2013, a young man by the name of Richard Snoop took a firearm and discharged it. Richard Shoup discharged a firearm within the Garden State Plaza Mall. And I was on duty volunteering with my ambulance corps. I told my crew that I was going to respond to the scene first, me being a previous active shooter instructor, police officer, and Marine. I went there to direct them with their vehicle. When I arrived on scene, it was a giant mess, and I ended up helping police officers escort people out of the mall, and I started directing traffic. Later got stopped because I was the same age, looked exactly like the suspect, had my gun on me, and I was charged with a secondary felony, which due to the Graves Act is a 36 months mandatory in prison. I then retained a lawyer, James Patuto, and we applied for PTI, pretrial intervention, as he told me. And I waited in this process for about 18 months, and it didn't go through till about 2 months ago. And I was told by my Mr. Patuto that I was denied, and at the same time, he's like, you have to report to court tomorrow. And I was like, that makes no sense. What's going on with our PTI here? What happened with the process? I've never even been interviewed. And he's like, you can't do it. He's like, Mr. Molinelli, he's going to make you go to trial if you don't accept this plea deal. And honestly, I'll be the first one to say I was in violation of the law at the time. What I did was wrong. But now, the day after I was pled guilty, I see in the front page of the record my attorney, James Patuto, associated with this money scheme with Fiero, and how this Dr. Raji, a doctor who's supposed to protect the public, molesting people, got PTI twice. It made me sick to my stomach, and honestly, I went in shell and I was scared because no one was here to protect me. And then I got in contact with a man named Bill Brennan. And Bill Brennan was fighting against Molinelli, and he was fighting a fight that I was already fighting, and now I had somebody help me, and 10 times better, older, with more experience. And now I have faith because I could see, just from a regular person talking, that we could actually make a change, to this county. Now me, I have another 15 years to go before I can't be a felon anymore, but I am trying to get my master's. I'm doing what I can do. But in the same process, my mother was actually here in 2013 because she received Teacher of the Year in Hillsdale. And she's been helping me and Mr. Brennan in my defense. And in the course of this, my mother also had Mr. Molinelli's daughter as a student in her play, and there was no issues or anything like that.
3 minutes, Mr. Donovan.
Okay, I'll be very brief. But then it was quickly found Mr. Molinelli caught wind, and we tried to fight to say that he couldn't be a prosecutor because there's a conflict of interest. But all of a sudden, she was fired from her work because she supposedly made allegations that she mentioned the disabilities of Molinelli's daughter, which she doesn't even have knowledge of any disabilities. And she was let go after 37 years, and her partner was also let go after 40 years of being a music teacher here in Bergen County. I would like to thank you guys again, and I would also especially like to thank Mr. Brown. Thank you.
That's all there is on this.
Ray Welsh.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ray Welsh. I live in Paramus, New Jersey at the Harrison House. I am the resident manager there, and I work for Buddies of New Jersey. And we are celebrating 30 years, officially, more than 30 years, of eliminating the effects of HIV and AIDS in Bergen County. And I'd like to thank everybody here and your predecessors for being partners with us and allowing us to do the good work that we do. And tonight I bring some people who are residents and some people who are community supporters from as far as Fort Lee all the way up to Mahwah and everywhere in between. And some are here just to support, but other people would like to let you know a little bit of what we're doing at Harrison House, which is on Bergen Regional Hospital's Medical Center's campus. And we were made aware several weeks ago that there's a road that needs to be widened. And what they basically told us is that they had to come in with about 15 feet into the house property instead of going across the street where there's nothing but trees and grass. The major issue, according to the architects, is that there's something to do with the pump house. Now, I really don't understand all that, but what we'd like to do is to somehow let you understand how important the garden is, not just to the residents and to the community, but to Bergen County as a whole. And if there's another way to keep the integrity of the garden, Tracy came to our 30th anniversary party, and I appreciate that, and we've had other sentiments from other freeholders, and we know that you guys are committed. We just want to let you know who we are, because we haven't been here in a very long time, and we also want to let you know why your work and your support is so important. Thank you. Joe Gonzalez
Yes.
is the person who created the Garden of Hope.
Joe, would you come up, please?
This is what we're here for. A couple months ago, there was a person outside the house doing some measurements. I wanted to ask what's going on. They're gonna build the road in front of the house. If they're gonna cut half of the property, it's gonna go away. The garden that I built for 4 years, I put so much passion into it. It's a place where everybody benefits, the people from the hospital, the community, and myself. And it brought a lot of attention to a lot of people. I don't know what's gonna be. I want to know what's gonna be, what's gonna happen when we stand it. Thank you. And I have bring some photos here that I want for somebody to look at it. And it took me 4 years, 4.5 years. When I first moved in there was nothing there. It was nothing but grass and dust. Stone by stone. I painted every one of those stones there. There's gotta be like 500 stones painted by hand, one by one. And I have nothing else to say. We have a lot of people here that came with me to say thanks the rest of it.
May I just add, I know Joe prepared and he's a little nervous right now, but the garden was made in honor of Steve Sherman, who's our late director, who was with us for like 15 years. A lot of you know him. And for Marianne Collins, who was with Hackensack University almost forever, and she was on our housing committee for many, many years, and we appreciate you for honoring them.
Thank you very much.
Roberto Cabañas.
Cabanas. Good evening, everyone. That was my Uncle Joe. He's been working on this garden for 4 years. I thank Buddies of New Jersey for doing a tremendous job and giving people another chance to live, right? In essence, this is a community that is oftentimes voiceless and is afraid to come out of the shadows, which is why we're here today, because this garden means so much to them. Basically, the ask today is, which hasn't been provided to Buddies of New Jersey, is a democratic process to have a discussion when they're going to make these changes onto the property. We understand that the property was donated by the county, and we definitely appreciate that. But there are residents here who live there every day, who garden every day, the nurses who come out, visit the garden, and so many others who this garden has done so much good for. The only thing that we're asking for from the freeholders or the folks who have the power is to give this group an opportunity to voice their concerns about this project. I mean, I can't imagine anyone coming into my neighborhood in North Arlington and building out one of our roads or building 8 feet into my property without having a discussion with me and my family first. And that's what I think needs, that's really what this is all about, is if we are going to have this kind of development in this property, that we engage the residents that live on the property before we make those kinds of decisions. And there's other folks who will speak to some of the other things and really the details of what this garden means to them. But really all I'm asking for is a process that engages the residents who live here before going on to making these types of decisions that really do impact every person that lives in that home. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sharon, is it Goach?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sharon Gooch again. Buddies is special to me because they have been an enormous help to my daughter. I worked at Bergen Pines from '84 to '97, and it was just Harrison House. When I went to visit my daughter, there was this humongous garden, and you could see the love and just the love that Mr. Joe puts in that garden. And when you sit, it's just beautiful. A garden is more than just a garden, especially for my guys there. It's their hope, their peace. It's just, when you sit in the garden, you just, beauty. And at this time in their life, that's what they need, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you very much.
Sister Barbara Iolet, is that?
Gentlemen.
AYDELOTTE. Good evening.
Good evening,
Good
sister.
evening.
My name is Sister Barbara Adelot.
Sister?
Yes.
Just wait 1 second, please.
Sure.
With respect to the exhibits, these beautiful pictures of this beautiful garden, I would ask that they be reproduced in their entirety in the record.
Okay.
Thank you.
My name is Sister Barbara Adelot, and I'm here in support of Mr. Joe Gonzalez and the Garden of Hope. The Garden of Hope has been a source of healing and has transformed those as well as those who have received. We hear the phrase, "Take time and smell the flowers." I'm not here on a crusade to promote flower power or save the pansies, but I'm here to see the continued growth and healing of the inner spirit. Where there is despair, let me sow hope. Notice the word sow. We hear the word hope constantly, and we use it constantly. Hope she pulls through. Hope it doesn't rain. Hope it doesn't snow. I sure hope they find a cure. Hope. What if there was no hope? To hear the words, "I'm sorry, there's nothing that the doctor can do." Or, "I'm sorry, but he or she has 3 months to live." That can send a person in a downhill spiral of despair. What would those words do to each one of us if our ears were the ones hearing it? I've been coming to Harrison House since 1993, and the conditions were very depressing. Literally, it was a place to come and die because your family didn't want you, or you were afraid to get close to people because you didn't have anywhere else to go. The walls within the house were dull and depressing and barren, and food was left literally leftovers that no one wanted to use. So it was forwarded to the house. At that time, I was not a nun, but an employee of the Federal Bureau of Investigation and a lay Franciscan. One of the Franciscans who assisted and ministered to Harrison House was Lenora Mosca of St. Anne's in Fairlawn and Bergen County Council of Churches. It then became our goal and ministry as Franciscans to alleviate the pain and suffering of our brothers and sisters. Yes, they are our brothers and sisters. We would make meals for them along with other churches in the area and tried to lift the human spirit. And for me, it brought me great joy and purpose in my life, so much so that I left the FBI and became a sister. I met Joe Gonzalez a few years ago, and we instantly became friends.
3 minutes, sister.
I'm sorry?
3 minutes, sister.
3 minutes?
Yes. I'm not stopping her.
Don't stop.
Thank you, Counselor.
Just saying.
Sister, you can take as long as you want.
I met Joe Gonzalez a few years ago, and we instantly became friends. His creativity ranges from being a chef on the Food Network, having cooked with Guy Fieri, yes, Guy Fieri, and gardening. He tends his garden, and it gives him hope and purpose in life. He was deep in depression when he came to Harrison House, being given only a few months to live. His gardening not only involves flowers, but produce as well. Joe harvests that produce and shares it with those who come to the house. He creates meals, freezing them for when people do not show up or donate a meal. Out it comes, and it's ready for the house. His flowers bring me joy. He takes pictures of all the flowers. He'll tell you who came, who didn't come, and you should see his face light up. He'll give you a grand tour of the garden, and these include the hospital patients, assisted living patients, the vets across the way, our wounded warriors, and a police officer with no arms or legs. It gives them joy. Not to mention the bus driver who slows up when approaching the house so that his passengers can take it all in. Joe will tell you about each flower, how to plant it, when to plant it, and who pays for all of this? Joe, from his own pocket. He'll tell me updates of the garden and show pictures. I tell him, look, Joe, look what you're doing. You're giving hope, you're giving joy to everybody, and it's causing a ripple effect. And he just looks. It's the ripple effect. Let us sow hope. In 2010, it was hope that gave 33 miners the will to live and survived, who were trapped in a mine in Chile for 17 days. It was hope that gave Amanda Berry, Michelle Knight, and Gina De Jesus the will to live and break free from Ariel Castro in 2014 after 10 years of captivity. And it's hope that gives Joe Gonzalez the will to live a purpose-driven life. Take away a person's reason to live and purpose in life, and I guarantee, as true as I stand here, you will see that person go down a downhill spiral into depression. Harrison House and Bergen Regional Medical Center have been transforming places from Fort Lee to Mahwah, becoming a source of healing, a source of information for those with HIV and AIDS. I would like to make a suggestion that in altering the roadway, that the integrity and the structure of the house be maintained, possibly altering the opposite side of the street instead, preserving Joe's Garden of Hope and the integrity of the house. Be mindful that Joe is also handicapped and has problems with his legs. So I ask your consideration in preserving the integrity of the house. So I would like to end by asking all of us, what gives us joy in life? What gives you hope to keep on going? And what kind of ripple effect is it creating? I thank you all for your time and your attention. And may the Lord give you his peace. Thank you. Thank you, Sister David.
Okay.
I just had a flashback back to grammar school. Thank you.
Ralph Curry.
Tough fact to follow, Ralph.
Good evening. I was just saying that was going to be a tough act to follow. But my name's Ralph Curry, and I'm the chair of the bill. I'd like to get her up here for my little pitch. I'm the chair of the Village of Ridgewood's Open Space Committee, and am here to ask for your support of Ridgewood's application for a grant from the Bergen County Open Space Trust Fund to begin development of the Shedler property. That's a 7-acre parcel off of Route 17 in the northeast part of Ridgewood. The development of this property will be an important step in a lengthy effort to alleviate the critical shortage of playing fields in Ridgewood, as well as create an attractive park with passive recreational space for residents of the surrounding neighborhood and the entire community to enjoy. The effort began as far back as 1997 when village sports groups identified the property as a potential location for playing fields. In 2003, the Village of Ridgewood Open Space Committee identified it as a priority for preservation because of its potential for development as active recreational space. And then in October of 2008, after the property became available for purchase, I made a presentation to the Ridgewood Village Council on behalf of the Open Space Committee and urged the village to preserve the property. As part of that recommendation, the Open Space Committee put forth a revised development proposal consisting of a 90-foot baseball diamond, an overlay multi-purpose field, a paved ADA-compliant walking path, and a wooded area for passive recreation. We rejected an earlier plan, the 1997 plan, which included 2 baseball fields, because we believe the revised plan we put forward struck the best balance between the needs for active and passive recreation in Ridgewood and was more compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. During the same period, former Ridgewood Councilman Pat Mancuso convened an ad hoc Shedler Committee of interested citizens, including residents of the adjacent neighborhood, and they met on a weekly basis throughout the fall of 2008 to discuss the preservation and eventual development of the property. Later in October, same month of 2008, I was asked to present the recommendations of the Shedler Committee to the Village Council. And as part of that, I made the following statement. Although the members of the Shedler Committee believe that the primary objective at this time is the preservation of the property as open space, they have also discussed in detail and approved the conceptual plan for the improvement of the property. Significantly, the representatives of the neighborhood have assured us that the neighbors support the conceptual plan. At the time, the neighbors' fear was that the property would be sold for high-density residential or commercial development, and the village's preservation of the property saved from that. What's that? Okay, maybe 30 seconds. In April and May of 2012, we had a series of public hearings to discuss the development of the property. Following that, we submitted our recommendations to the Village Council for development. We submitted a development plan that was very similar to the one we submitted in 2008. The reason we did that was simple. Despite the desires of some neighborhood residents for a smaller field, that's not what Ridgewood needs. Ridgewood desperately needs a second 90-foot baseball diamond as well as additional multi-purpose fields. So finally, in August of this year, the Village Council voted to endorse the Open Space Committee's recommendations for the development of the property. This history demonstrates that the public and the neighborhood have had a full and fair opportunity to discuss the plan.
Sir, we now had 4 minutes, and
Okay.
we have to try to keep to a 3-minute schedule whenever
Okay,
possible.
and anyway, so if you would support the grant, then we'll be able to move forward and create a recreational space for the enjoyment of the entire village. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If anyone else wishes to fill out a card, please do so because we're here to listen. Okay? Okay. Tim Cronin?
C-R-O-N-I-N. Thank you for your time tonight. I'm associated with my colleague, Ralph Curry. We sit on the Open Space Committee together. I'm currently the Director of Parks and Recreation for the Village of Ridgewood for the last 35 years. Seen a lot of changes in Ridgewood for the better, one of which was with your help to open the Open Space Trust Fund you created a number of years ago, which spurred us to do ours. And together we've done a lot of good things in town, from baseball fields to playgrounds to multi-purpose athletic fields to turf, pool improvements, and parkland purchase. I don't have to tell you how densely populated Bergen County is. We all appreciate open space, and that's what we're here about tonight. We want to preserve this open space. We did it with your help through the county funding program. We have a plan in place, a conceptual plan. I won't go through the points again that Ralph made, but on behalf of the mayor and council, we wish to thank you for your past support, for your leadership, and we ask for your support with this grant application. Thank you.
Thank you. Peter Roman?
Rohrman, R-O-H-R-M-A-N.
Thank you.
Good evening, Freeholders. First, I'd like to thank you for taking action when it comes to the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office. Hopefully we can move forward on this, have some healing, and get past this. I'm not here primarily to talk about that. I'm here to rebut against Mr. Curry's stance. You need to know before you pass out any kind of grants for this program, for the Shetler Project in Ridgewood, there is a significant resistance in that town. I've been contacted by Jacqueline, forgive me, I can't remember her name, but there's a significant presence in that town that does not want to level that property. That property represents a buffer zone for a significant number of people in that area. Before you give out a grant, please, I ask you to grant some time to the opposition, the protesters to come here and proceed their case with you before you give out a grant. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Joe Dunsey.
Hi, I'm Joe Dunsey from Riveridge. It came to my attention that the last freeholder candidate debate, someone hurled an accusation at Peter, calling him a Tea Party member. Now, I've been to my share of Tea Party rallies and Tea Party meetings. So when a candidate tries to insult another candidate by using the term Tea Party member, I take it personally, just like I would take it personally if someone tried to insult another candidate by calling him Jewish or bisexual. So I'd like to know exactly why a candidate would feel so much disdain for Tea Party members like me that he thinks it's appropriate to use that term with mudslinging. And I'd yield the rest of my time so that whoever made that accusation can respond.
Okay. Joe Richardson.
R-I-C-H-A-R-D-S-O-N. Good evening. I'm a Medicare SHIP counselor, one of the volunteers. There are about 10 of us who do that here in Bergen County on the second floor. I've been doing this for about 5 years now, some of my colleagues for 6, 7, 8, 9 years. And I have a couple of concerns about the new garage that's gone up. One thing I've been told is that, except for those who are employees of the county, everybody will have to park in that garage from the second floor on up. I parked in there yesterday, and I can see that nobody who has any issues with mobility can possibly get back up and down in that garage. For one thing, when I went to get back in my car, I have been told, well, you can use the elevator opposite the courthouse. No, there is a very firm barred iron gate to make sure you don't do that. First flight of steps is 20 steps, excuse me, no landing. I was on the 4th floor.
Yeah.
Luckily, I could hike up there. I mention that because a number of our clients who come to see us also would have to park there. And some of them have serious mobility issues. There's no way that they can get up and back, and I'm concerned about a violation, a possible legal violation of equal access for those folks if they cannot park and they cannot get in to see us. These are folks who have trouble understanding Medicare. Medicare is a complicated, big, complicated system, which I won't go into now. But it takes years to get pretty good at it. And I've been doing this for 5 years now. I'm starting to get pretty good at it. There's one other thing also, which I've been told, and that is that all of us volunteers, all 10 of us, will need to resume to start parking in that garage also, and would have to start paying for the privilege of volunteering here. Some of my colleagues have said, if that happens, I'm out of here. It takes years to develop the expertise that we have. Enough years that, in addition, we get training twice a year, updates. And I can't tell you how many emails come across my desk with changes to the rules. So I don't know what the board can do, but if you all can do something about this, number one, there has to be a fix to where our visitors, our clients, are going to park. And secondly, if you can do something about what I admittedly is hearsay, that we would be asked to pay for the privilege of parking in order to come in to do this volunteer work, perhaps you can do something about that also. Thanks very much.
Thank you. You're not alone in your concern, believe me. I have gotten many, many phone calls and concerning exactly what you're talking about. So,
okay. Thank you.
Madam Chair, if I might, just to make things clear concerning parking, yes, we do have an active construction site across the way. We are cognizant of the issues and the various stakeholders that utilize the garages here, whether they are volunteers, whether employees, jurors, those folks who are just coming in to do some business, maybe get a passport at the clerk's office. We are considering all options. And I must indicate as well that, that there are a fair share, more than a fair share, of individuals who are disabled and have a handicap parking placard. Those folks too are certainly are a stakeholder, and exactly where those employees who are disabled and visitors, that is under review as well. So I can tell you there's a lot of moving balls and a lot of moving pieces, but there's nothing that's finalized and set in concrete.
okay. Thank you. No problem. Justin, is it Froshy?
Spell your last name, please.
Frasche.
Thank you.
You all hear me? Okay. Yeah. One moment, I have a script. not a script, but guideline. So I came here tonight to introduce myself and to provide you with some information about some problems I've been facing lately as a resident of our county. My name is Justin Frashy. I just spelled it. I'm 19 and I've lived at Vision's Independent Living Program at 125 Essex Street here in Hackensack since August 19th of 2014. It's a county facility, and through that program I received a housing voucher under the Shelter Plus Care program as of a few weeks ago. But despite having this voucher, I've been facing discrimination due to having this voucher by multiple landlords here in Bergen County. When I found listings either online or exploring the neighborhoods for rent signs, I took down some numbers and called them only to find that they did not want myself or others with vouchers. Because of this reluctance, I have noticed on the part of the landlords, I asked my social worker at the program at Visions whether this was allowed, and she contacted my worker over at the Housing Authority, Mr. James Wolbert, and he said no, that's not allowed, that is discrimination. So when I continued on looking for apartments and I asked them if they will accept this voucher, then they said no. I said, well, that's highly illegal, and then I have to fight to get into an apartment building. I don't want to have a landlord who doesn't want me there. And clearly this incentive to have them bring people who would otherwise be undesirable tenants into their building isn't working. And I don't know what to do. So I'm here to ask for advice more than anything. I'm not here to tell you what to do because I have no clue. I'm not a lawmaker, but I just need a place to stay. I'm just gonna leave it at that because I have more, but I don't want to keep talking.
Why don't you give all of your information to Michael Bellucci, who is our assistant administrator. Michael, where are you?
Michael's
in the back. And we'll see how we can help you.
All right, thanks.
Okay?
Good luck.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Reverend Perry Jackson.
Hello, everyone.
Good evening.
Chosen Freeholders, Bergen County. I'm Perry Jackson, like you mentioned. I'm a Hackensack resident of Bergen County. I just wanted to piggyback off the idea, as the former Attorney General mentioned about smoking. And he even, I think, showed a film, or really a video on television showing how drugs affect the person after they smoke, after a long period of time, how it affects the body and what it can do to a person overall. The electric cigarettes, I know not of, but I know it's an option where cigarettes are concerned. There's also a filament or some type of smoking element that's liquid type of smoking element. So I said to myself, well, that's also maybe something that some people may choose to use as an option to smoking, whether it will help them to smoke less or choose their choice of using a different type of smoking habit to wean off smoking. All that, I just thought that I would just share with the Board of Chosen Freeholders, because if nothing else, the Attorney General tried his best to share how important it is to let not smoking to be more prevalent but less evasive. And my dad used to smoke, God rest his soul, and it really never bothered me too much about his smoking because I was really never around it as much. So, I mean, and sometimes if somebody, blows a smoke into my face, I don't really, care to be fazed by it because I say, well, maybe they're just exhaling. And I guess I get the brunt of it. But, I just wanted to give something of that nature, some thought to everybody to think about for something in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak? If not, may I have a motion to close
So moved.
the meeting to the public?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have heard everyone's statements, and regardless of your thoughts on the issue, this board has, as we always have, allowed everyone to speak. That is the root of our democracy, freedom of speech. However, as I have previously stated, the Freeholder Board is not a courtroom, and we should not engage in second-guessing the prosecutor's office. This is not the appropriate venue. This board will never silence public debate, but we will also not politicize our judicial system. May I have a motion to recess for a little bit?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
Okay, we'll be in recess. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Will the clerk please read the resolutions on the consent agenda?
Resolutions of unanimous consent, 1202-15 to 1238-15.
No. Oh, sorry. May I have a motion to accept the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Freeholder Di Nicola?
Yes.
Freeholder Felice? Freeholder Gans?
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan?
Yes.
Freeholder Tonelli?
Yes.
Freeholder Zor?
Yes.
Chairwoman Boss?
Yes. Are there any resolutions of non-consent pulled or tabled?
None.
Okay, and so we will go on to the ordinance for second reading and adoption. Will the clerk please read ordinance 15-33?
The proof of publication of ordinance notice of the public hearing was published in the Record and the Herald News on Sunday, October 18, 2015, and is on file in my office. A copy of the notice, hearing, and ordinance of 15-33 was duly posted pursuant to NJSA 40A:2-17 on Friday, October 16, 2015. Title is read as follows: Guarantee Ordinance Securing the Bergen County Improvement Authority's County Guaranteed Governmental Loan Revenue Refunding Bonds, Series 2015, in an aggregate principal not to exceed $90 million.
May I have a motion to open the meeting to the public?
So moved.
Anybody in the public wish to?
A second.
Okay. May I have?
There are no speakers, Chairwoman.
Okay. May I have a motion to close the public hearing on the ordinance?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Is there any board discussion on ordinance 15-33?
There is.
I'm sure, okay.
Chairwoman, I just want to talk for a minute about a $90 million bond ordinance, which is doing the work for not only one town, but many. This takes advantage of a great AAA bond credit rating that the County of Bergen has, and it has it because of the skilled work of this board in maintaining a stable tax base and in terms of being prudent in its expenditures. People can criticize it all that you want, but the professionals that rate the county say that we are doing just fine. I'm proud to participate in this. This saves the municipalities that are involved. It's like refinancing your house. They're refinancing their debt. It's a pass-through for us. There's no real cost. And I'm proud to say I will vote for this.
Any other discussion on the ordinance?
Madam Chair, just to highlight, this is going to save in some of these municipalities 2 tax points. This is real property tax savings for municipal residents, and I'm happy to support this.
What does that mean, Freeholders, sir?
It means I feel like I'm at school. Thank you, Freeholders again. It means real tax savings for the people who are for our residents. That this will enable municipalities to not have to raise taxes and to perhaps even lower their tax rates.
Bravo.
Madam Chairman?
No.
Yes.
I just would like to add to this that we all talk about how we save money and how we do shared services. This is a form of shared service through the county, and it's something we've been touting all along. We need the municipalities to get more on board with us to give their residents more relief, and I applaud the efforts of the county. This is great cost-saving measures, and you might not see it in the county lien, but the municipalities will see the impact of this, and that's what shared services are about. Thank you.
Freeholder DiNicola.
That's right. I wanted to add as well, what it means is $3,722,000 in savings for 5 municipalities as well as the Bergen County Utilities Authority. And it's all because our county has a AAA bond rating, and those entities can benefit from that in the refunding of these bond deals.
Okay, all righty. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 1533?
So moved.
Do I have a
Second.
second? Okay, will the clerk please call the roll?
Freeholder DiNicola?
Yes.
Freeholder Felice? Freeholder Gans?
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan?
Yes.
Freeholder Tonelli?
Yes.
Freeholder Zor?
Yes.
Chairwoman Boss?
Yes. Ordinance 15-33 is passing on its second reading. We will now have freeholder committee reports, and again, may I just please ask that you keep it under, succinct, to
I'd
the
like to make a
point,
motion to
germane.
suspend reports.
I'll second that. A motion and a second.
Really?
A roll call.
Roll call, please.
Freeholder DiNicola?
Yes.
This is a motion to...
Suspend committee reports.
I can't believe I'm saying it
Freeholder
tonight.
Felice? Freeholder Gans?
No.
Freeholder Sullivan?
No.
Freeholder Tonelli?
This is gonna be close.
Yes.
Freeholder Zor?
No.
Oh, and I have to be the
Chairwoman
tiebreaker.
You made 3-3 right now.
Yes.
Okay, on to committee reports.
No, we're suspended.
Suspended.
Are they suspended? Okay.
Committee reports are suspended. Motion to adjourn is
Okay,
in
may I have a
order.
motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.